Greetings, foodies! Welcome back for a special Halloween edition. And this is Jo Nini with Foodie Adventures. Greetings and happy Halloween, foodies! I am Purple Pirate, and oh look, here is my little friend. Say hello. Happy Halloween! So I thought I would just come on and do a quick story time. I'll do a horror story. Woo! All right, so this is a true horror story about something that happened to me in Japan. Let me hold my little sidekick. So, where should I start? All right, so it was a cold and stormy night a few years ago in Japan, and I had just went out for a great party night with my friends. And it was time to catch the last subway train home. And for those of you that don't know, the subway usually stops around midnight. So usually at the last train, the subway station is empty. There's not really people there. And plus it was a stormy night, so people were not out in the middle of the night. But me and my friends, we partied, we had a good night. And I have to tell you a little bit of the backstory. So mostly the people in Japan, they don't like to sit next to you on the subway. So if there's a seat, and let's say someone sits down and there's someone right here, they'll move away from you. This is just a cultural thing in Japan, right? They don't like to sit next to you on the subway. Okay, so back to the story. It was a cold and stormy night. I just got done partying with my friends, and I was at the subway to take the last train. I looked around to the left, I looked around to the right, and there was no one in sight. So this is the last train. I jump on the subway train. I get on, and I was a little bit, not 100%. I had a few adult beverages. So I sit down on the train. My train, I believe my stop was like 4 or 5 stops away, not that far. I sit down, it's no one on the train, I'm relaxed, right? Suddenly, this man gets on the train, and I'm looking at him. Woo! So, this man, he gets on the train, he looks a little bit strange. So this man, he gets on the train, he looks a little strange, but it's no big deal, right? You see strange people all the time. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just in my thoughts alone. And he stands, he gets on the train, and he looks at me, and he walks past me on the subway train. And I'm like, okay. And then he stops, he goes for a little while, then he stops, I can hear him. I'm trying not to make eye contact here, right? And he comes back and he walks right past me again. And he's looking at me. He's looking down at me. I'm sitting down. I'm looking down because I don't want to make eye contact. I don't want to encourage what he's thinking. So he walks past me again. So I'm already a little bit freaked out. It's me on the train. It's no one around. Then the man turns around and he comes back, and he's smiling like this. And he doesn't say anything, he's just smiling. And he sits down. He just had a strange feeling for me. He had on a nice suit, but he had big eyes, and his hair was all messy. And he was walking like strange, not like a confident walk, not a slow walk, but a very like strange kind of movement as he was walking past me on the subway. And he stopped and looked at me for a little bit. He kept going, and when he walked past me, so it just gave me the chills, because it was like he was dressed so nice, but he had big eyes. He was walking strange, and his hair was so messy. Like, where did he come from? Just a little bit scary. Okay, so back to the story. And he sits down right next to me, and he's smiling, looking at me like this, smiling. And I'm like, I'm so scared, but I'm trying not to look at him, but I can see him in my peripheral. And he's looking at me like this, and I'm looking down, trying to avoid him. And I'm scared to death. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Japanese people don't even sit next to you. There's no one on the train. He walked past me a few times, and he's smiling at me like this. And he didn't say a word. He's just smiling. And so I'm sitting there. I'm getting more scared like this. And I hear him, like he's starting to lean in a little bit. And then the train stops for this first stop. I jump up, I grab my bag, and I ran off the subway. And I don't know what was going to happen, but I've heard a lot of stories of people getting slashed or attacked on subways. So that is my horror story for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my quick little story time. And I'm Jo Nini. I do Foodie Adventures, where I show life around Japan and other random facts. Please put a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. All right, and happy Halloween. Woo! My little horror story. TaTa.